Hey there, this is Dr. Anna Maria Helt, herbalist and microbiologist here with Basmati.com. And Milo's taking that as his cue to click around, and he's about to jump up on the couch behind me and start showing off. Anyway, our herb of the week this week is Burdock. Where is he? There he is. Our herb of the week this week is Burdock, Arctium lapa, which is the botanical name. This is a common weed native to Europe and Asia, but naturalized all over the United States. In fact, if you get a decent amount of rain where you live, you'll find burdock kind of in shadier places, a little bit damper places, not so much out in the desert. But we have a lot of it around here in Durango, and it's all over the place. And so I don't feel guilty harvesting it. So arctium means bare, and that refers to the fuzzy burrs that this plant makes when it goes to seed. And also the burr part of burdock reflects that, with dock meaning any large-leafed weedy plant. So burdock, yellow dock, red dock, for instance. And so this is in the Asteraceae family, the daisy or sunflower family. And you can read more about burdock and other root medicines in an upcoming article that I'm doing for Basmati on harvesting fall roots. And so it is the root mainly that's used as medicine for burdock, the seeds as well. But I'm going to talk mainly about the root here. And so you can do the root as a liquid extract or tincture. I'm sure it's available as capsules. I don't use capsules much. And it's something you can do as a tea as well. But my favorite way to use burdock root is to just eat it. And in fact, a lot of grocery stores actually carry burdock root now. I know a couple stores in my little town have it, which is impressive. And so, but it's also easy to find. Like I said, look it up online. You'll see it has these big, beautiful heart-shaped basil leaves, basil rosette of leaves. It's first year, so it's a biennial. And then the second year, it'll be even bigger. And then eventually it'll shoot up its flower, spike, and bloom, go to seed, and then die off. So you want to make sure that you harvest the root before it sends up its flower spike. And I'll talk more about this in the article I mentioned, because with these biennial plants, they're putting all of the energy that they have up into that flower spike, and so the root's not going to have much oomph to it anymore after that blooming, and in fact may even be dying off by that point. So a great time to harvest burdock root is fall of the first year of that plant's growth, so look for a bigger cluster of basil rosette leaves, or spring, the second year of its growth, where that basil rosette of leaves might be huge. In fact, some of the leaves can be as big as my head, if not bigger. But anyway, as I said, my favorite way to use burdock is as a food, and it's a pretty common staple in Japan, actually, where it's called gobo, G-O-B-O, and you can use it shredded raw in salads. You can use it in soups and stews. It'll lend whatever you put it in a nice, pleasant, earthy flavor. And stir fries are another great way to use it. But anyway, let's get to the medicine. So this is a cooling medicine, burdock root, and the seed as well. And so burdock root is bitter tasting, so it acts as a digestive bitter tonic. And anybody that tunes into these videos knows that I talk a lot about digestive bitters. You can do a lot to improve health just by improving your digestion. And so the bitter flavor of burdock helps us to break down our food better, which leads not only to better nutrient absorption, but to less inflammation in the gut and throughout the body. So that can be beneficial for things like arthritis and skin outbreaks and inflammatory stuff that we deal with. I would even argue inflammation in the brain, because we know that there's crosstalk between the gut and the brain via the vagus nerve and hormonal and neurotransmitter signaling, where inflammation in the gut can translate to mood effects and fatigue and such. So burdock, simply by helping us to break down our food better, can be relevant to all of those things. And so burdock, in terms of its digestive bitter function, can also help with constipation, because sometimes we wind up constipated when we have poor digestion. Sometimes we're not secreting enough of our digestive fluids, especially bile in the liver, to have regular poops that are not difficult and painful. And so burdock and other digestive bitters, in fact, can act like gentle laxatives simply by improving digestive function and by improving liver function. And so herbs that are relevant to the liver are called hepatics. But let's pause on the liver for a minute. I want to just talk briefly about the gut. burdock and actually dandelion root, which it pairs really well with both, are good for gut inflammation, aside from the digestive bitter aspect, but they have anti-inflammatory effects in the gut, which translates to other parts of the body. Burdock also provides inulin to our gut microbiome, our gut flora. Inulin is a prebiotic, so it helps feed the healthy microbes in our gut, or it makes sense to actually take a prebiotic if you're using probiotics to help them to work better. And so burdock is a prebiotic, so good for supporting your gut health. You do want to be careful with prebiotics like burdock, dandelion root, Jerusalem artichoke, and such if you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or SIBO, because sometimes it may exacerbate that growth until you've started working on it in other ways, and then you could add in the prebiotic along with probiotics to try to help things that should be there, and critters that shouldn't be there take a hike. Anyway, back to the hepatic herbs. So these are liver supporting herbs. Burdock helps with liver detox. The liver is an important way that we clean our blood, essentially, that we clean our body, and so burdock can help with that. Although you do want to be careful with a plant that can do that, because it can theoretically change the dose of your medications. But regardless, improving liver function does a lot of things for the body aside from detox. For instance, a lot of skin stuff. You can put all the creams and lotions on it that you want, but if you really want to resolve various issues like eczema and psoriasis and stuff like that, acne, you also do have to work internally, especially supporting liver function. So I always use either burdock or dandelion root or other liver supporting herb dealing with skin issues. In the case of burdock, eczema and acne are two things that I would think about using it for. You want to avoid using it with really severe acute rashes, however, but for more chronic stuff, it might be helpful, but you have to be patient. I also like burdock, and a lot of herbalists like burdock for hormone balance, because our liver is one of the important ways that we balance our sex hormones and other hormones. So whenever I'm working with somebody who is dealing with menopausal related stuff, perimenopause stuff, or fertility stuff, I like to include burdock or dandelion or another good liver supporting root in their formula. Through its effects on the liver, burdock can also help with healthy blood sugar regulation as well. And so lots of things burdock is achieving simply by having an impact on our liver. Burdock's also great for urinary system health as well as liver health. And so it's what's known as an alterative herb, which I know Facebook is going to correct to alterative. So these are herbs that help with waste metabolism and elimination. And in burdock's case, it's doing that through liver, through the urinary system, and also through the lymph system. So burdock is a lymphatic herb, which is an herb that in some way benefits the function of the lymph system. And whether that is through better lymph flow, healthier lymph gland function, the lymph glands, yet another filter in the body that we have in multiple parts of the body. So burdock is helpful in that regard as well, with the lymph system, especially if you have an infection and you've got swollen lymph nodes in your body. Look at burdock for that. If you've got chronically swollen lymph nodes, you want to get into the doctor. And so burdock can also help suppress herpes outbreaks. So this plant, this root, really does a lot. And it has traditionally been used as well for growths and tumors and such. And so that was a use that dates back for quite a while. So it's not a bad idea if you tend to be lumpy to include burdock in your diet on a regular basis. But of course, get those lumps checked out to see what they are. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up because I've gone on for a little bit longer than I planned. Sorry about that. Until next week, be well.